Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about mallet finger. If you're watching this video, you probably already know what it is, but if you don't, basically it's an injury to your extensor tendon along your finger, specifically the end portion. So when you have it, you'll get a finger that kind of looks like that at the end, and you're not able to extend it. So most of the time that'll happen through a jamming motion, like playing sports. Get like a basketball, bend the tip, or a laceration, which was my case because at work I got stuck in an industrial fan and almost cut my finger off. If you're squeamish, look away because I'm going to show a picture of it. Okay. As a musician, guitar player, bass player, finger injuries are our worst fear, especially if it's on your fretting hand, which was my case. So I got 3 pieces of advice for you. I'm not a doctor, but I've dealt with it before, so hopefully it helps you. First piece of advice, don't ignore it. Go see the doctor, go see the physiotherapist. It's not going to go away on its own. It's not the kind of thing that will just heal if you leave it alone. Not going to happen, okay? Don't be a hero. And when you see them, they're going to have you do some things to help it along and everything. Which brings me to my second point, is don't play with it, okay? Do what they say. Follow their advice. So what they're going to do at first is they're going to give you a splint, either canoe style like this. Your finger sits inside it and just immobilizes it. Or another one like this. This is like clamshell style. These ones are better, I think. But anyways, the point of it is so that you're not bending that joint, okay? Because in my case, they had to stitch the tendon back together. But in regular cases, the tendon separates from the bone and it will reattach if it's not being moved, okay? So that's why it's so important to keep the splint on. And you need to keep it on all the time, okay? Like you can't take it off and try to play guitar for a little bit or do anything. You gotta keep it on 6 weeks full time. Can't come off, because the second your finger bends a little bit like that, boom, it's all back to square one. So you need to have lots of patience, okay? It will get better. You just gotta leave it alone. Don't play with it. All right, okay? And after 6 weeks, usually what they'll do is they'll take it off and they'll start giving you like exercises and things to do to help it build the strength back, because your finger, like mine was like it just looked like a bone. All the muscle and everything was gone, from not bending it at all for 6 weeks. Like, you'd be surprised. But they have you do things like have a sponge, and like bend it like this, and eventually they might give you something like this for gripping, like so. Lots of fun, I know. Or this stuff like putty, have you do like half a dozen different exercises, like gripping like that, pinching, things like that. Even like pressing it flat and pushing. But again, you got to do what they say, follow it to a T. But the thing is, at that point, they're still probably going to be having you have your splint on at night, or anytime, like if you have to be at work and, doing like heavy labor like me and stuff like that, you got to be super careful, man. And that brings me to the third piece of advice. Use light strings. If you're a guitar player, especially, when I was younger, I used to use like big Stevie Ray Vaughan 13 gauge strings and be bending them, and you don't really want to be doing things like that, especially at first. You want to start light because your tendon is not strong and your fingers are not strong, and what can happen is you could do like, I don't know, a lead line, and you bend a big note and then bam, you're back to square one again, and then now you got a whole another 6 weeks to deal with, and nobody wants to deal with that. But like for me, I went with the thinnest strings I could find. Those were 7s. Yeah. And it's, you know, the Billy Gibbons Mexican Lottery brand strings. I really like them. You know, unfortunately for me, due to the type of injury I have, you know, I'm going to have to stay with strings like that. But for most people, you know, you'll be able to work your way up to probably the strings you used to play with. But again, you know, using like crazy thick strings like that could cause you to get mallet finger anyways. So it's something to think about, you know, mallet finger, carpal tunnel. Is the tone worth it, guys? You know, so be careful. If you're a bass player, you know, I would say, unless you're bending the strings, I wouldn't really worry too much about it, but you're gonna have to go slow and build up that muscle and everything again. And you know, but like for me, you know, I have like a giant scar right over the knuckle, so I have like limited range of motion, unfortunately. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, for most people, you get the regular type, you know, you jammed it on something, you'll be back at 100%. So be patient, do what they say, and you're gonna make it.